Ada standar jam tayang bang.
In order to improve, first you have to be able to measure the process. So the purpose of this pillar is to have robust measures that can first identify how processes should perform, and anything that detracts from 100% we describe as a loss. The measure we use for this is overall equipment effectiveness, or OEE. And there are three components to OEE, and it begins with availability. Is the process running or not? And if not, what is the reason? The second component is performance, which considers whether the process is running at rate or if it's slower. The third component is quality, so what proportion of product is right first time. And this gives us 3 percentages, which multiply together to give OEE. There can be some challenges in providing consistent data. Common mistakes arise in whether the times are considered as planned or unplanned downtimes, and whether the speed is based on standards or theoretic maximums. The guidance is to make the gaps as large as possible and as visible as possible, because this drives us towards doing good problem solving. To decide which problem to solve, we use loss trees to drill down into the losses and reach enough focus that we can reduce that loss to zero. Once problems are prioritised, there are a number of problem-solving models available. For example, A3, AD, DMAIC, to name just a few. But the principles all come down to Deming's logic of plan, do, check and act. Or more practically, when you apply this to problem solving, we consider it as CAP-do, where we check the performance gaps. Or more practically, when you apply find the root causes, and then we plan the solution, and finally do the solution, the performance gaps. Or more practically, when you apply find the root causes, and then we plan the solution, and finally do the solution, the performance gaps. Or more practically, when you apply find the root causes, and then we plan the solution, and finally do the solution, performance gaps. Or more practically, when you find the root causes, and then we plan the solution, and finally do the solution, performance gaps. Or more practically, when you find the root causes, and then we plan the solution, and finally do the solution, performance gaps. Or more practically, when you find the root causes, and then we plan the solution, and finally do the solution, performance gaps. More practically, when you find the root causes, and then we plan the solution, and finally do the solution, performance gaps. More practically, when you find the root causes, and then we plan the solution, and finally do the solution, performance gaps. More practically, when you find the root causes, and then we plan the solution, and finally do the solution,
Gua yang tambah itu
the ease in terms of delivering the learning. So that no longer they're going to have to focus on the costs and the administrative burden of the ease in terms of delivering the learning. So that no longer they're going to have to focus on the costs and the administrative burden of the ease in terms of delivering the learning. So that no longer they're going to have to focus on the costs and the administrative burden of the ease in terms of delivering the learning. So that no longer they're going to have to focus on the costs and the administrative burden of the ease in terms of delivering the learning. So that no longer they're going to have to focus on the costs and the administrative burden of the ease in terms of delivering the learning. So that no longer they're going to have to focus on the costs and the administrative burden of the ease in terms of delivering the learning. So that no longer they're going to have to focus on the costs and the administrative burden of the ease in terms of delivering the learning. So that no longer they're going to have to focus on the costs and the administrative burden of the ease in terms of delivering the learning. So that no longer they're going to have to focus on the costs and the administrative burden of the ease in terms of delivering the learning. So that no longer they're going to have to focus on the costs and the administrative burden the ease in terms of delivering the learning. So no longer they're going to have to focus on the costs and the administrative burden the ease in terms of delivering the learning. So no longer they're going to have to focus on the costs and the administrative
Sopra
So it's a very motivating, engaging methodology. So the specific way of introducing TPM, the maturity starts at a sort of piloting phase where you'll introduce some of the tools and techniques, and then you'll expand into other areas until it's holistically taking place across the business. And there are 12 steps that describe that maturity level. The way it is delivered on the ground, the accountabilities come through a series of pillars, and there are 8 pillars. In brief, there is one described as focused improvement, which is all about identifying where the biggest benefits will be, and then in a sensible manner making those problems go away. The challenge is often sustainability. So the next few pillars help with that sustainability. There's a pillar described as autonomous maintenance, which is where operators get more involved in the care. The challenge is often sustainability. So the next few pillars help with that sustainability. There's a pillar described as autonomous maintenance, which is where operators get more involved in the care. The challenge is often sustainability. So the next few pillars help with that sustainability. There's a pillar described as autonomous maintenance, which is where operators get more involved in the care. The challenge is often sustainability. So the next few pillars help with that sustainability. There's a pillar described as autonomous maintenance, which is where operators get more involved in the care. The challenge is often sustainability. So the next few pillars help with that sustainability. There's a pillar described as autonomous maintenance, which is where operators get more involved in the care. The challenge is often sustainability. So the next few pillars help with that sustainability. There's a pillar described as autonomous maintenance, which is where operators get more involved in the care. The challenge is often sustainability. So the next few pillars help with that sustainability. There's a pillar described as autonomous maintenance, which is where operators get more involved in the care. The challenge is often sustainability. So the next few pillars help with that sustainability. There's a pillar described as autonomous maintenance, which is where operators get more involved in the care. The challenge is often sustainability. But also it will be noticed by the help with that sustainability. Those benefits. The pillar described as autonomous maintenance. All you need to do to find out more is visit industryforum.co.uk. The challenge is often sustainability. But also it will be noticed by the help with that sustainability. Those benefits. The pillar described as autonomous maintenance. All you need to do to find out more is visit industryforum.co.uk. The challenge is often sustainability. But also it will be noticed by the help with that sustainability. Those benefits. The pillar described as autonomous maintenance. All you need to do to find out more is visit industryforum.co.uk. The challenge is often sustainability. But also it will be noticed by
I'm Jeff Stanford, Tata Steel UK, and expectations from the IATF related to safety aspects.
About is an awareness of the VW auditing structure and the depth of that, so that's been really helpful.
I'm Brendan O'Callaghan. I work for Penn Engineering. We're a self-flinch manufacturer in Ireland. We often don't have that exposure to the higher tiers or the OEM. So this event has been, I suppose, very eye-opening in that sense anyways.
I'm Des Lewis. I work at Charter Automotive and I'm the quality manager there. The best workshop that I attended was the risk-based thinking and how you can build it into your business. It's an important thing that all companies really should be considering quality management.
Particularly encouraged yesterday to hear about the launch of the QMB. We've had an informal network up till now, but it would be
it's an important thing that all companies really should be considering quality management. The best workshop that I attended definitely this is one for the company.
We've had an informal network up till now, but it would be really
important thing that all
companies really should be considering quality. The best workshop I attended, definitely, this is one for the calendar.
We've had an informal
How you can build it into your business. It's an important thing that workshop companies really should be considering quality. The best workshop I attended, definitely, this is
performance in the
tracked down a skills development partner here in Europe. They put together a program for us.
Going from one facility that was crowded with R&D space in potential manufacturing space, it made for a very inefficient use of the space available. This has enabled us to do two things in terms of setting up an R&D facility. It's fully operational, it's a busy place, but it's the space that's created backing our manufacturing area that really means that we now have a manufacturing shop floor which is probably 3 times larger than it was at the beginning of the process. We're able to lay the equipment out better, we're creating cells around the different markets that we've got, so it really does enable us to be more productive.
We started in what we call technical turning, and we've invested in 3 or 4 machines in that area, which are the component level parts, typically pistons, small items that go into a caliper assembly. On the caliper side of it, we've invested in right angle head boring machines. We've invested in a Hermley 5-axis machine with a pallet loader, and we've got a second one on the way. We then invited a cross-section of cross-functional people in the business to get involved in what is QRM about. The support that we got from Industry Forum in that process was very, very positive. The way things were pulled together, the way the agendas were set, the meeting minutes from those meetings.
Well, in the 2 financial years since we started the programme, we've grown turnover by 26%. The QRM is all about the value of time, and the sorts of wins we're now seeing is such as 50% reduction in programming time and actual run time. That is just the start. We've created 50 new jobs as the programme has proceeded and safeguarded a roughly similar number. The rate we're growing at the moment, then we expect to be double the size we are in 5 years' time.
We now have the capability that when an automotive OEM comes and looks at us, we're no longer this small brakes business who happens to do motorsport and a few other projects. We've got all the tools, we've got all the kit to make their decision a little bit easier. When you see the guys have turned up, they've got good equipment to work with in nice facilities, then it's no wonder we're producing the products that we are. We see growth in all markets, whether it's automotive, armoured and military or motorsport. We're growing in all areas because we've got a good platform to do it from.
We as a business are now in a state of quite constant change, and I'm pleased to say people are getting used to it. There's no sense of stagnation. Everybody knows that we're growing, that we are going to be doing things differently tomorrow from the way in which we did things yesterday, and that's really powerful.
Hello and welcome to this Industry Forum overview of the aerospace sector requirements for statistical process control. Variation management is the application of statistical methods to the monitoring and control of a process to ensure that it operates at its full potential to produce conforming product. A statistically stable process behaves predictably to produce as much conforming product as possible with the least possible waste. While variation management has been applied most frequently to manufacturing, it applies equally well to any process with a measurable output. Key tools are control charts and a focus on continuous improvement. AS 9103 requirement. This standard was created to provide a uniform process for the identification, control, documentation and approval of 9103 requirements, KCs, when contractually invoked at any level or as a guidance within the area of aviation, space and defence industry in the control of critical items. So let's have a look at this. Critical item, an example. The leading edge of a fan blade is solid. This is to reduce the chance of the fan blade shearing off and causing an end indexes, for example, C. We can have spread. Now we can see a normal distribution curve, but the width of the spread seems to be excessive. And then finally, we can have shape. So in this instance, we might say that we have a skewed distribution because it's no longer a nice shaped curve, or in real life, we can have any combination of these.